trust me, this is an excellent blueprint. The subtitle says, Write fast, publish cost effectively, and generate lasting income. This book tells you how to do that, and it also shows you examples. And so this is really a winning toolkit. It's like a business in a box for Caribbean authors at home or in the diaspora to win. I'm excited about that. Book publishing has many paths, and just figuring out where to go at each stage can be confusing. But with insights and guidance from author experts just like us, you can tackle the writing process competently and be assured that the goal of being a published author is within reach. Welcome to the Caribbean Authorpreneur Summit, the place for Caribbean authors to shine. With each staging of our summit, leading Caribbean author experts at home and in the diaspora share their stories and strategies to win with books beyond book sales. In the process, aspiring and published authors are inspired and lives are transformed. The Caribbean Authorpreneur Summit will ensure that fewer books die in the minds of their authors, more manuscripts become published legacies, and precious lives are transformed with the turn of each page. All right, everybody, it's 2024. Welcome to the Caribbean Authorpreneur Summit. This is the premier event for Indie Entrepreneurs Tribe, and our sponsors are Bamboo Sparks and the Authorpreneur Secrets Academy. I am truly excited about this year's summit, and especially because we're going to be launching our Vision 2030 campaign that we want you to be a part of. My name, as you see on the screen, is Ruth Taylor. I am the convener of this summit, and this summit, in true entrepreneur style, is based on a book, Authorpreneur Secrets, Write Fast, Publish Cost Effectively, and Generate Lasting Income. It used to be Write Fast, Publish Affordably, and Generate Lasting Income. So this is the revised, expanded, and updated edition, which is the toolkit you need to become a winning entrepreneur. So I see the chat, the comments it's already blowing up. Hi, Nerissa. Hi, Coach Thelma. It is so good to see you. And you're going to get, I was going to say you're going to get value for your money, but it's going to be value for your time. And so I am so excited. Our first session is to lay the foundation, because you can't be an author entrepreneur if you're not an author. So every year we use the first session to lay the foundation, to answer the most frequently asked question I get every year. How do you publish a book? I get that question every week, and the twin to that is people need guidance in writing. And so today I have with me Patricia, or we call her Pat Lindsay Fletcher. She's one of the graduates of the Authorpreneur Secrets Academy. I'm going to tell a little bit more about her, and this is our second time presenting on the summit. But before we even get into that session, tell us where you're joining from. And I am going to play a song, right? I don't know if YouTube is going to block out part of it, but we're going to declare that this is our year. This is the year our books will do great, and no one can stop it. So if you've been listening to Lamborghini, the song for the year is that song. And I want you to type it in the chat, right? When the song comes on, type in the chat, this is my year. My book is gonna do great. No one can stop it. This is my year, all right? So I'm gonna bring that up, and then I'll bring up your comments and we go through that. So let me share screen, and you're going to type in the chat, this is my year. My book will do great. No one can stop it. My book will do great. And even if you don't have a book yet, you're going to prophesy. This is a year for your book, and it's going to do great. No one can stop it. So type it in the chat. and listen to the song for a few minutes. I figured it's best. My here. My book is great. No one can stop me. All right. So let me see those who've been declaring that in the chat. This is my year. I'm gonna do great. No one can stop me. Coach Selva says my book, what did she say? This is my year. My book will be wildly successful and reach places and impact people beyond my wildest imagination. I agree. I agree. Coach Thelma says, this is my year. I'm going to do great. No one can stop me. A mega book door is open for me to access. Woohoo! I believe it. Dorothy Stanley says, this is my year. My book is going to do great and no one can stop me. Phyllis Thomas says, my book is gonna be great. Hallelujah. The church girl in me is coming out. All right, just before we bring on our speaker, I am going to just take care of business a little bit. Welcome to the Caribbean Authorpreneur Summit. This is a place for Caribbean authors to shine. There are many summits over the world over the years, but very few are focused on the Caribbean, and very few have people looking like us, authors looking like us, talking about our experiences. And so we thought it best to showcase our excellence, our people, that we are part of the independent publishing revolution that's taking place. And so you're going to get inspiring stories. You're going to hear strategies. You're going to see our books that you can go out and buy. And you're just going to be encouraged on your journey. And you're going to walk away with solid tips. If you registered and you're on our mailing list, the Monday following the summit, we're going to send you a toolkit. It's going to have speakers' notes. It's going to have the contact information for the speakers. It's going to have different things that will help you on your authorpreneur journey. So if you haven't registered, go to authorpreneursecrets.com/summit schedule and do that, or just go to the look for Caribbean Authorpreneur Summit on the Authorpreneur Secrets website, and it will just pop up. So we're excited. Again, the summit is sponsored by Bamboo Sparks and the Authorpreneur Secrets Academy. This evening will be the Academy launch, the book launch, and our Vision 2030 launch to raise up 10,000 Caribbean entrepreneurs by 2030 to bring financial freedom to many families and to see how books will be able to transform many lives. So let's learn a little bit more about our sponsors, Bamboo Sparks and the Authorpreneur Secrets Academy.
Navigate your way to us. Step 1. Visit our website and browse our services. Step 2. Book your free consultation. 3. Complete and submit our preliminary consultation form. Thank you for watching. Feel
And now for our featured authorpreneur guest speaker for today. Patricia Lindsay Fletcher published her debut historical fiction, family saga novel of the 20th century, Hezekiah, Many Houses, One Life, in May 2021. During the process, she sought guidance via the Authorpreneur Secrets Academy membership group. We call that ASA. After mastering the publishing process, she became one of ASA's first certified publishing coaches. All this was done during her retirement years. Pat now works as a publishing freelancer with Bamboo Sparks, where she utilizes her skills as a publishing manager, editor, and proofreader. Along with other qualifications, Pat holds a BSc in sociology from York University in Toronto, Ontario, and completed the Canadian Risk Manager designation from the University of Toronto. Her story demonstrates that you can leverage your experience of publishing, learn new skills, and chart a new path in retirement. So in a few seconds, let's make welcome Pat Lindsay Fletcher to the summit.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction, Ruth. I also want to let you know that I am very excited to be back on this platform because of the growth that I've experienced through the projects I've worked on in the past 2 years. I'd like to preface my talk to you this morning with a facetious quote I discovered over 4 years ago regarding self-publishing. As a novice, I identified with it because that's how I was experiencing self-publishing at the time after September 18, 2020, when I had signed and paid for my agreement to self-publish. However, as a practicing member of the publishing team, I now know that nothing could be further from the truth. During my publishing process in 2021, I began to feel as if I was drowning in the foreign language of the publishing world. That is when I began looking online to other sources for guidance and came upon this quote, which only worsened my fears. The comment was, self-publishing, pay close attention, self-publishing is like paying someone to go on vacation while you stay home and do all the work. No, that really put the fear of God in me. That's exactly how I felt until I met Ruth in July 2020 at a book launch for one of Bamboo Sparks' Amazon award-winning authors, Diane Batchelor. I lost no time in getting Ruth's contact information from Diane, which resulted in my signing up first for her formatting course and afterwards registering in January 2021 for a one-year membership in Ruth's Authorpreneur Secrets Academy, which is where I became certified as a publishing coach at the end of the year. That is where I learned to translate the foreign language of publishing, and also where I acquired the knowledge and skills necessary to take charge of my own publishing journey and to make more informed decisions regarding the services that were optional and what was really necessary, such as the type of editing to select, the variety of marketing options, and which was most suitable for me, instead of simply acquiescing to my Canadian publishers' offerings based on my own ignorance. This Authorpreneur Secrets Academy course, which was for 1 year at the time, enabled me to appreciate how many services are necessary to produce a book properly. Managing the publishing process for self-publishing clients is certainly no vacation, as that cynic wrote. It is definitely hands-on work. The analogy I have chosen to demonstrate a more positive view of the work involved in the publishing process for both the author and the publisher, I think is aptly conveyed by this quote from the Arnold Nobel children's story titled Frog and Toad Together. This book was a gift to my 7-year-old son many years ago, but I have never forgotten the punchline and wish to share it with you today, not just for the concept, but also for the lasting impact of a book. I mean, my son is now 50, and that was when he was 7 that I was reading this book with him. In this story, Toad has admired Frog's garden and wants to have one of his own. Toad therefore engages in things like singing and talking to his plants with relentless effort and innovative actions. Eventually, Toad's efforts bear fruit, and his friend Frog observes that Toad has been successful and remarks, "And now you will have a nice garden too." It was very hard work. Admittedly, Toad's efforts seemed excessive in his determination to have a garden as beautiful as Frog's. The point is, if we want to have an equally beautiful garden as Ruth's, we would be wise to observe the garden she has produced over these past 10 years in writing and publishing almost 30 books and many more for others. So today I've been asked to talk about specifically the idea of, the title is How to Write Quickly and Publish Cost Effectively. So let's start with writing quickly. I'd like to begin by defining what is meant by quickly in the terms of the Authorpreneur Secrets Academy, which is based on Ruth's award-winning book, The Rocket Writer. The rocket writing process helps authors to move, and I quote, to move from desire, that is desire to write, to the position of done in 24 hours or 30 days, with a nonfiction book of 10,000 to 50,000 words. Now, nonfiction refers to such products as a memoir, a devotional, or an educational piece based on actual events, which is likely to be within the 30 to 50,000 word count and can be written within 30 days. Agreeably so. Ruth actually hosts an annual rocket writing contest every November, whereby participants are challenged to write a book that quickly. I participated very enthusiastically in November 2021 and completed a draft of 46,000 words, which is only now bearing fruit as my second book and first attempt in the non-fiction genre. In my view, the quickly approach is valuable because it holds us accountable for our desires and dreams for writing. Quickly helps us to overcome the stumbling blocks and fears, but quickly can also be aided by appointing an accountability partner to accompany you on the journey, which I did when I started writing my novel back in January 2019, and have done again, got the same accountability partner, which is my niece, Christina Dixon, a life coach. I've got her again enlisted, but this time I enlisted her for January 2024. And this would be, this was my approach to completing this second draft, this second book's draft. So quickly also supports the importance of completion. Otherwise, there will be nothing to publish. So quickly ensures that the writer's seed for taking the next step of publishing is at least planted. We need to plant before we can get any fruit. So my fictional historical family saga novel, I'll tell you a little bit about that experience. I should also add, for the benefit of the fiction writers in our audience, that the template I followed for producing my 96,000 word count historical fiction novel was from another source book titled 90 Days to Your Novel by Sarah Domay, published 2010. No, I did not complete that writing project in 90 days. It took me 2.5 years due to the extra time required to do the necessary historical research. But had that research not been necessary, I believe it would have been completely feasible to do complete fiction writing in the 90 days advertised in that guidebook. Now, some of the obstacles to the destination of quickly are as follows. One is purpose. We haven't clarified our purpose for writing the piece. Usually, nonfiction is driven by a social, psychological, emotional, or spiritual problem that the writer holds dear and feels compelled to share either for catharsis or to relieve the burden of another soul in the world who has grappled with similar issues. For example, it could be a subject like how to overcome sexual addiction or any other addictive behavior that the writer has either experienced or observed in his or her lifetime. Here, the author is not only presenting a problem, but also proposing a solution. Both need to be clarified before proceeding to write the ideas that are flowing through your mind down. The second issue that could pose a problem or be an obstacle for someone who would like to write their book is the audience. We haven't identified who we are writing for. Who is our audience to be? To be properly aligned with the purpose for writing, the audience cannot be everyone. Audience must be narrowed down to an age and possibly even further narrowed to a gender cohort. One of the reasons that this choice is so important is that ultimately it will affect our being able to leverage the book as a door opener to platforms beyond readers, such as special interest, not-for-profit organizations or community groups, planning seminars for corporations, speaking at church groups, forming support groups, or creating a podcast, which again provides a platform to explore the themes in our book more expansively. I launched a podcast in 2023 for this purpose, and it was both exciting and important to remind me of the purpose for which I wrote the book and the audience, which I would primarily be parents and would-be parents. I also started a paternal online family gathering in August 2021 for my father's side of the family, shortly after publication of this fictional family saga. So upon publishing in May of 2021, I started the family group in August 2021. This has unified the paternal branch of my family, which was completely disintegrated, which was one of the desires of my heart. And I had sort of given up on the idea of ever living to see this unification come true. The Lord had actually promised me many years ago that there would be family unification on that side, but I had no idea, of course, of how and when that would occur. So I'm very happy to be alive today to see this fruit being born from the writing of this family saga book. The third possible obstacle to, completing your first draft could be the issue of the necessity to have an outline or a synopsis for your book. This item is a big gun. I am one of those people who think chronologically. So my outline is usually based on a timeline system that I seem to be fond of using. This is probably due to the fact that history was my favorite subject in school. And you could now reflect on what was your favorite subject in school as a way of triggering, like stimulating your thought process on how to develop an outline. Hence the reason that my first book, Hezekiah, Many Houses, One Life, is based on the historical period in Jamaica between 1899 and 1959. It's happening again with my current manuscript, which I have outlined again using a timeline. This is my way of organizing the flow of ideas and events. However, you need to decide on your own method of framing or organizing the information or narrative. But creating an outline is indispensable before beginning to write, regardless of whether you're writing a short nonfiction or a longer fictional novel. Now, if you're going after the nonfiction can also be tricky, particularly memoirs, because if your writing includes other people who are still alive, you may need to meet and share your plan for doing this project to include them in your writing and to get their written signed permission to include them before launching headlong, without their permission. Of course, if they have passed away, then their relatives or their executors may need to be consulted and provide that written approval also. Getting such approval can cause unexpected delays. So, one means of overcoming such is to change the names that you're using in your book. Now, I want to go on to the other side of the talk, which is focused on publishing cost effectively and made easy by Bamboo Sparks. At this point, I should also probably disclose how much it cost me in the end to have my first book published. But if I did so, you would fall off your chair or your couch or wherever you were sitting. So talk about a lamb to the slaughter. That really describes my first publishing experience, which was with a Canadian self-publishing company. Thankfully, because of various marketing efforts and freelance work, I have almost recouped my investment, but not profitable yet. That said, publishing for Bamboo Sparks' specialty is quite different in making publishing more affordable, particularly for their niche market for non-fiction, such as memoirs and poetry books, in the range of the 10,000 to 30,000 word count. Now, Bamboo Sparks offers 3 packages, 2 of which are relevant to us here today because of comparison. So there is a basic book management deal, which is offered for $1,500 US, starting at 10,000 words, and of course, an additional cost for exceeding the 10,000 words. But the advantage here is you retain 100% royalties, which is important because that means the profits are yours. And then final cost depends on your word count. Now, the other package is titled Standard Book Management Deal, and it's being offered for $2,500 US. And it takes you the book from the manuscript to the book launch, and includes a marketing campaign plus option to add additional services. And again, you retain 100% of your royalties. And the final cost would depend on, your word count, which would likely exceed, if you're doing nonfiction, it would exceed the 10,000 definitely. So the second point I want to make is, how are these publishing packages designed to be cost effective and to therefore be more inclusive for the range of people who have the desire to write their book? So the first service that I found important to mention is the proofreading, because what I find, the difference between Bamboo Sparks and the service I got at my Canadian company was that Bamboo Sparks actually offers 3 stages of proofreading. So 2 when the book is in the electronic form and you're back and forth with the author in those 2 sessions. And then finally, a print proof, we call it, or you can call it a sample copy, where you actually get a tangible copy of your book in your hand to read it and to have someone else read it to determine whether it is error-free. It is free of typos. It is free of the punctuation is in order. The formatting is in order. So that to me makes Bamboo Sparks stand out, because the proofreading is a critical aspect of publishing your book. You don't want a book published with a lot of errors in it. You don't want a book that is not shaped properly. The print is not aligned properly, and so on. And I just want to say that the additional, so I want to go back to my experience. That was not part of my Canadian publishing package, which meant subcontracting this service out to another party for an additional cost, which ran me up an additional, for my book, in your case, if you're doing a 10,000 word count, it would be an additional $116. In my case, with my book, it was like an additional 600 US dollars. So it escalated the cost and made it more prohibitive. It would, if I had known this in advance, it would have been prohibitive for me to have published that first book. The second thing is consultation sessions. Bamboo Spark is offering consultation, three sessions, sorry, for the basic package, which is your 10,000 to 30,000, word count book, and 6 to 7 sessions when you take the standard package. Now, this is worth gold. This is golden, because when I registered with mine and paid my fee for my package to the Canadian company, there was no such thing included. All communication was done electronically, all of it from start to finish. There was never any verbal. You could call and have a chat, but it wasn't built in to be a consultation. And this to me makes a huge difference in the quality of the work that is ultimately produced, because the author is getting a lot of clarification for each step of the process as they go along. And thirdly, I want to talk about the publishing coaching I've also mentioned here, but you're coached. So you do have the opportunity to be guided step by step. It's not like you're groping in the dark with a map and a flashlight. You're actually in contact, on a personal one-on-one basis with your coach and your project manager. The fourth thing I want to mention is the Bamboo Sparks feature of using a publishing roadmap. Again, totally absent from the service I got with my experience. The publishing roadmap does help to helps to communicate to the author, prospective author, what the role that they are expected to play in the process, how the ball will be bounced back and forth as we go along the journey, and also the timeline, the deadlines, because for a lot of people, their lives are already crowded with demands on their time. And so it's difficult for them to stay on track. And this is why a book that is normally quite able to be published in 90 days ends up being published in 120 or like 180 days. It will, instead of 3 months, it will go into 4 months and 5 months, because the client doesn't have that map. And if they have the map, we can also adjust for extenuating circumstances. With no map, then you're flying blind, and it could end up being a very frustrating experience for the prospective writer. So that is pretty much what I would like to contribute to both writing quickly and publishing cost effectively. So I hope that this information I have shared from both a personal and professional point of view has been helpful in motivating you to hop on board and fulfill your dream of being an author and join the 1 percentile attributed to this group, as well as acquire new skills which can be leveraged to supplement your retirement income, as I am currently doing. And I close with one of Ruth's favorite quotes from the Old Testament biblical book of Ecclesiastes 12:11, penned by King Solomon. And he says, of making many books, there is no end. Thank you.
All right, everybody, show Auntie Pat some love in the chat. If you gained anything from her presentation, show her some love in the chat. This presentation will be in the tool kit. What is your takeaway from the presentation, and what are your questions? So this is the Q&A now. We are going to tackle your questions. The book Authorpreneur Secrets, I need to mention, the part one of the book talks about how to write a book in 30 days or less. Part 2 talks about how to publish a book on a budget. So Auntie Pat talks about, she didn't tell us the figure, but I assume it was a high figure she paid for her book publishing less than bamboo sparks. But here's the good news. Every January, because I know the pain of, I spent almost 5,000 US dollars just to publish my first book. And then with the printing and everything, it cost me printing, launch. I printed 1,200 books, had a launch. It cost me over 10,000 US dollars. And my budget at the time for all of that to print 5,000 books and everything was 2 million Jamaican dollars. And I was going after it to raise funds. And what happened is that I didn't raise all of it. And in the process, I ended up in a debt of almost $1 million because I had these grand ideas about how to publish a book. And that is also told in the book Authorpreneur Secrets. So if you want to learn to write fast and publish cost effectively, I'm saying get that book. Because it has the information. At the back of the book is also a publishing toolkit. So if you want to even become a publisher, this is the book to get. But here is the big thing. Every year, the Authorpreneur Secrets Academy offers you an opportunity to learn, to be guided in a publishing support group to publish your book for less than 1,000 US dollars. If your book is between 10 and 30,000 words. So you heard the figures. Bamboo Spark starts at 1,500 and publishing can range anywhere from 1,000. You heard my figure up to 10,000 US dollars or more. But we talk about being cost effective. We show you how through the Authorpreneur Secrets Academy membership group that you can publish for less than 1,000 US dollars and make it cost effective. Yeah. So let me go to the chat to answer. Both Auntie Pat and I will be answering your questions. So it was said here, Auntie Pat, well presented. Thelma, Coach Thelma says, my people end up being in great debt for lack of knowledge. Right. Yes, and that is why the 7 secrets to publish cost effectively are in the book. And the first one that I put there is be familiar with the publishing process. And then this commenter says, my takeaway is the quote of making many books, there is no end. Now I'm supercharged to set out on my 3rd book. Thanks, Patricia Fletcher. That's the push I needed. Another comment here says, excellent. Another commenter said, that $10,000 was a few years ago. So imagine the price now. It would be crazy. That's right. And we know Caribbean people, what that is like. Joanne says, the roadmap is extremely helpful. Hers worked perfectly. And Joanne will be sharing tonight her story. She too published for her 2nd book for less than 1,000 US dollars. Wow. And so if you want to know the secret, go to the 2nd and our 3rd book. Buy the book Authorpreneur Secrets. We also have to help you to publish cost effectively through the Authorpreneur Secrets Academy, a free course that over 2,000 people are in 97 countries have done that course. It's called Publishing Secrets 101 Masterclass. It's on Udemy. And then we have a series of video tutorials on the YouTube channel asking you to subscribe to the Authorpreneur Secrets YouTube channel. And there are a series of tutorials there, about an hour and a half, that breaks down the publishing process and tells you how to do it cost effectively. So you can sign up for that. All right. Any questions? If you are thinking of publishing and writing, what questions do you have? Let's answer them. And here Coach Thelma is saying, under our guidance, she was able to publish her book for way less than 1,000 US dollars. So proof of concept here. That's what we talk about. That's what the summit is about. And that's what the Indie Entrepreneurs Group is about. It was established to teach you how to write and publish. Affordably was the term used before. We're saying cost effectively, and to show you how to leverage that book to create greater impact and income. And this summit is about beyond book sales. So come on, questions. This is a time. If you don't have a book, thinking of writing, what questions do you have? Ask any question, any question. Okay. So this person is asking, what tools can we use to publish after we have a manuscript? All right. So what tools can you use to publish? All right. Let's backtrack to define what publishing is. Publishing is taking that manuscript, polishing it, that written draft, and making it available to the public in either ebook, paperback or hardcover, that's a print book, or audio. So what tools do you have at your disposal? I'm going to ask Auntie Pat to weigh in terms of publishing. What tools do we have at our disposal to make that book available to the public? Answer this question for this user.
Well, you need to get yourself connected in a relationship with self-publishing companies such as Bamboo Sparks. I mean, the tools you can also freelance it. Like, I mean, you need a book cover, so you need a graphic designer to help you with that, or you need guidance to go on the internet and do some research about that, right? And you also need someone who will be able to edit the book. And editing is very technical, meaning you have different levels of editing. So the primary, like if you're not confident about your writing, for example, then you would want to get your book with a developmental editor, which Ruth is a developmental editor, and she has other people who can do that as well. Meaning you may have everything written down, but it's not, necessarily, it's some of it may be vague. So you may need to, or some may be dull, or some may be questionable with your statistics or your references or something. So the developmental editor will tell you, where your book structurally is not, it needs help. It needs to be, shaped a bit more, either expansively, meaning you put in more explanation for your ideas that you're expressing, or it needs to be condensed, or it needs to be, you acknowledge your sources, or it needs something. So develop it, because we will write, but we think we understand what is on the page, but the reader may be lost for several different reasons. And so the development, I paid 400 Canadian dollars to have a developmental editing done. And it was good because she affirmed the potential for the book to be successful, but she also was able to identify areas in which it needed more expansion. We needed more explanation. We needed that type of thing. So, so that's one aspect which is foundational, which I would recommend if you're not sure about it. But a lot of the people who Ruth is publishing are academics. So they're very confident in that areas, but they may still need some developmental editing because of just how the book is hanging together. It's not consistently flowing, in the way that the reader will be able to follow these high, ideas that they're expressing. So that, and then you have copy editing, which is very grammar. I thought my husband would be able to be my copy editor. But then I went to Grammarly for editing my manuscript. So tools, you can get online tools such as Grammarly, and there is another one, Pro something or other. And then you can also have someone in your life. Like I have a very good friend who was a language professor, who I didn't impose on her to do copy editing, but I could have approached her to help me in that area, because grammar is her, forte, that's her wheelhouse. So you can enroll people in your team who are not going to charge you. And those are some of the tools that you need. You need these services, right? That's what I'm trying to say. But you may have access to them outside of a formal, like these ladies who are saying they published for under $1,000 are just blowing my mind, because I do have this upcoming book that needs to be published. And I'm very interested in finding out more about how that works. So tools. So tools are people, resources in your own circle, and resources in the publishing company circle. Because you can come into the publishing company just picking and choosing. There is a thing called add-on services. So you don't have to go with a package. You can go, you can have your, draft. Another thing I should mention, another tool that I didn't mention in my presentation, I hope I didn't get confused, was that you need a group of people who can read your draft. I would let them read the draft, not wait till it gets to manuscript stage specifically, but read it. A couple of people that you believe are trustworthy, so they're not going to steal your ideas, and they are competent, they know something about the English language, and they're called beta readers, and they're there to support you. I mean, they're there to give you both positive and negative feedback. So usually with the beta reader, it's advised that you create a little survey form, like a little questionnaire, like 5 questions, asking them to comment on specific areas of your work, your manuscript, or your draft, sorry, that you are not so sure about. So they will compliment and they can also critique. But it's not really a critique, it's more a feedback. Like, how is it coming across to them? Are the ideas coming across clearly? Should they expand on, certain points, and that kind of thing. Is it an interesting read? Am I going to buy the book? Would I buy it? But the beta readers are designed to give feedback that you need, because what the idea is to help you to improve your draft. So you can do it at that stage. I did it at that stage when I was in the draft stage. But you can wait as well until you have completed to the manuscript point, and then you can then send it to this team of people, like 2 or 3 people. One of our award-winning authors sent it to one person who was an author himself and a professor. So she didn't send it all over the place. So you have a lot of choice, you approach it, but it would be good to get guidance on how to approach that aspect of it. So there are lots of tools that, as I said, you can, resources is what I call them, that you can access. And of course, the internet. You can go on the internet and just have a little checklist and look up what they have to say. But the problem to me with the internet is there is such a plethora, there is such a flood of information that, to be honest with you, I just got turned off, because it's too much information. It's information overload.
Yeah.
So it's better to just talk to somebody who has the experience and get, a few pointers, like 5 points, and then you
Right.
can take off.
And well said, Auntie Pat. But here's a tool. Here is the tool. For $9.99, if you want the ebook, for $34.99 for the paperback, and $47 US for the hardcover. This is a tool. So this book breaks down the publishing process in a very detailed way. You get the budget for each area of publication. We tell you where to find publishing services providers. We teach you how to publish for under $1,000. We tell you every single step of the way, all the way up to even your book launch. This is the tool. One of the tools that Auntie Pat has mentioned, you need a publishing platform to publish. The most common one is Amazon. You could also publish on your own website. You could publish through Drafted Digital. That's another publishing platform. You could publish, when we say publish, making the book available to the public for purchase. You have to prepare it first, which is why she said in preparing it, you can read, you get this book and read it. You can get guidance from somebody else, and you have to polish that. If you're not familiar with the word manuscript, we just mean the first draft of the book. It's unedited. And you need somebody to edit it other than you. Or if you're already a teacher of English and you think, you're doing well, you need another eye on it, because you tend to read what you think is there. So the process of publishing and the tools are varied. And some people don't want to take on all that headache, so they hire a company or they hire a coach. I trust that answered your question. But this book, I'm going to promote it till the cows come home, because it is what it says. It will help you to publish cost effectively. It teaches you how to generate income from the book, lasting income beyond selling it, and you get the nitty-gritty of publishing. $9.99 for the ebook, and you can at least invest $10 to learn. The other big tool is the Authorpreneur Secrets Academy, because we have our publishing support group, the membership group, that if you join for $99 per month, 3 to 6 months, you will get a coach in that group to teach you, to guide you in the process, and you have a supportive community, and you get this book in there as well for free as part of your membership, and you get video tutorials and lessons to publish. So we have created everything you need. And remember, there's a free course, Publishing Secrets 101, that you can sign up for. I'm going to put the links in the show notes, but let me show you some of the resources that we have available. So we have free resources, we have paid resources to help you in this process. So just look at this for a moment. The Authorpreneur Secrets Academy. What resources? We also have a free writing course if you are still writing. So this is the academy. You, for $99 per month, 3 to 6 months, you'll get the support to write. You publish for less than $1,000, and you get the book as part of it. And I'm going to put the links in the show notes. Not the show notes, we're not doing a podcast. Links in the comments so you can see that. And then the academy itself, as I was telling you about, you can join the membership group, and the deadline to join is end of January. The offer goes away the 31st of January. But here it is, idea to book in 30 days. Start now for free. That's a free course. So it's just authorpreneursecrets.com/academy. And then there's a free Publishing Secrets Masterclass. Start now for free. So we have something for every pocket. Those who can pay for somebody to help them to publish, we have packages through Bamboo Sparks. They are one of the sponsors of this to help you. Those who want to DIY, you can get the book and you can do the free courses. Those who don't want to DIY, but you want a supportive community and a coach to guide you, join the Authorpreneur Secrets Academy membership group. And I'm going to put the links in the comments right now. Okay, so any other comment, question? Let's answer them. Somebody just said, please put the links there immediately. So here, that's one link. Here's another link coming up. But just go to the page and see the links there. And when you get the publishing, the Summit Toolkit, all of these will be there. So Daphne Ellis is saying Bamboo Sparks is a one-stop shop. So the links are in the comments. All right. The Facebook user here is saying, be careful how you use friends, because they can be so invested in the success that they are not objective. That is so true. So that is so true. That is so true. So you want to find, that's why when Antipa talked about the target audience, you want to find who this book will affect. You want to find maybe another author who is written, somebody who has some expertise in what you are sharing. So that is true. Coach Thelma is bigging up Bamboo Sparks and Coach Ruth, because under our guidance, she published her book for less than $1,000 US. Her book is, what's the title of your book, Coach Thelma? You can just put it in the chat in case, Pain, Pit, Praise, in case somebody have it. So we answered that question. What tools can we use to publish? We answered that. Are there any other questions? We want to wrap up. We want to wrap this thing up shortly. You want to wrap up? We're approaching the 1 hour mark. We don't want to be here for more than an hour and 15 minutes. All right. Purpose is really, somebody says, purpose is really an amazing driver to help write faster. Not just to write faster. When you feel like giving up and don't want to finish it, purpose will help you to finish it. Dolores Wade says, this is so engaging. On my way to my second publication, which will benefit greatly from this workshop. Thanks to the organizers. Another Facebook user says, wonderful story. Somebody has said, big up the retirees. So I'm not seeing new questions. Remember, you can share this. The Entrepreneur Secrets, unlike previous years, because of the vision we have to raise up 10,000 Caribbean entrepreneurs, we are now not just having it in the Facebook group. It's going to be on YouTube for years. So you can share it. Because tonight you will learn more about that, how you can do your part. And so spread the word, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We have a podcast that goes out every week to help you in the process. Like I said, we have free resources, paid resources. And I don't see anything else coming in.
No questions.
But, I see a comment. Don't be surprised when you see me doing great. All right. So, Auntie Pat, thank you so much. Can we show her some love in the chat? Send up some fire. Send up some heart. Show her some love if you got anything out of this. And remember, her presentation notes will be in the Summit Toolkit that will go out on Monday after the Summit, once you're on the registration list. And to register, I'm going to put the link to register in the chat. Just go to entrepreneursecrets.com. Right there on the front page, it says, there's a button that says register, but let me just put that in the chat as well. Make sure you're on the list. If you were on the list from last year, you don't have to register again. We are sending out reminders an hour before each presentation. So if you're not getting the reminders, check spam. It's coming from entrepreneursecrets@gmail.com. Check spam. Mark our email as safe. And check trash if it is in there. Just check everywhere. All right. And let's have a word from our sponsors again. All right. So our sponsors are the Authorpreneur Secrets Academy, the place that helps you to publish cost effectively, and Bamboo Sparks, helping you to go 90 feet with books.
Navigate your way to us. Step 1. Visit our website and browse our services. Step 2. Book your free consultation. Step 3. Complete and submit our preliminary consultation form. Thank you for watching. Feel
And that was Pat's book, Hezekiah, Many Houses, One Life. And if you're on our mailing list, that went out as well with the link so you can get it. So I want to encourage you to get Auntie Pat's book. It was a marvelous read. She is an incredible writer. I was cooking the day that I was trying to read it on my Kindle, and my pot almost burned up with it because to put it down, I was like, what's going to happen in this story? So it is Caribbean centered, as she talked about. It's about her grandfather, not giving away spoilers, but he was one of the richest men in Jamaica in the 1950s, Auntie Pat.
Yes.
in the 1950s, spearheaded the transport system in Jamaica. He had associations with Panama, the love story, the everything, him almost dying without a will. Oh my goodness, it had me on my toes. And it's a big book, it's not a small book. It's a big book. But I was so, captivated that I left. I read it and I left a review. So one of the things they want to do is to leave reviews. Again, we want to remind you, if you want to publish cost effectively and learn how to write quickly, get the book, as well as join the Authorpreneur Secrets Academy. You have 11 days to join, and the links are there. Or if you just go on authorpreneursecrets.com, it's all there. So we want to thank you for joining us. S. Morgan says, thanks, Auntie Pat. And Thelma says she's already shared the summit. So our sponsor, Bamboo Sparks, let's go to bamboosparks.com. I'm going to put on the screen as well the links to the academy. So it's entrepreneursecrets.com. Sorry, the schedule, so you can see what's next for this evening or tomorrow. And then each of our presenters, we interviewed them on the Authorpreneur Secrets podcast. So you can learn their stories right there on the page. Go scroll to the bottom of the page. It's all there. At the top, there are several buttons that say register. Just fill that out. And daily there are emails going out. Thelma's book is Pain, Pit, Praise, My Blueprint to Miraculous Healing. Get it on Amazon. In terms of the membership group to teach you how to publish for less than $1,000 over 3 to 6 months, you can unsubscribe at any time. It's authorpreneursecrets.com/ASAM. Again, this is going to be in your toolkit. In terms of the academy, it's authorpreneursecrets.com/academy. All right. We're winding down. Okay, what's your takeaway from this session as we close? Type your takeaways in the chat as we close this session. What's your takeaway? What's your takeaway? What's your biggest takeaway from this session? Let me put them on the screen, and then we're going to close out. Your friend Dawn Price says, "Good job, Pat." What's your takeaway? Somebody here says the 1 hour reminder came at 9:58 a.m. I think this is because it believes EST is 1 hour ahead of us, but we are currently, so I need to set it back another hour. Okay, thank you so much. So it came at 9:58 a.m. Oh, so we need to fix that. Thank you so much for that. What is Lisa saying? Good presentation, Auntie Pat.
She got on. Hi, Lisa.
What is Joanne saying? Joanne is saying, I'm if I tell you I love that book. Read much of it aloud to my husband and we were extremely intrigued. That's your book, Hezekiah, Auntie Pat.
Thank you, Joanne.
So just go to Amazon, type in Hezekiah and put in her name. Okay, Lisa says her takeaway is move from desire to done.
Good, very good. We talk.
All right. Phyllis Thomas says super job. Okay, all right. So we're gonna close out the show, everybody. Spread the word. Come back tonight at 7 a.m. and don't miss tomorrow. We're gonna talk about AI, how that can help us, copyright, and you're gonna meet some other Caribbean publishers and hear their stories in the night. So please, and don't miss tonight. Vision 2030 launch. You're gonna hear some fascinating stories from about 5 different authors, and you're gonna learn more about the academy and this vision of raising up 10,000 entrepreneurs by 2030. Why 2030? What's the big deal about 2030? And are we crazy? What are we trying to accomplish? Come back tonight to find out all about that. So we want to say thank you for watching, and we're signing off until 7 p.m. tonight. Take care.
Throughout our lives, we encounter adventures and memorable events. Making the most of these events is key, because these adventures create milestones in our lives, and what better way to document these milestones than through books? Milestones big or small, but they all hold a special place in our hearts. The accomplishments may be personal, such as graduating from school or getting a promotion at work, or they may be shared with others, such as getting married or even having a child. These books can serve as a reminder of the hard work and dedication that went into reaching that goal. They can capture the memories and emotions associated with it, and they can be cherished for years to come. No matter what the milestone is, capture it in a book.